Introducing Tony and Other People, a podcast. Here's your host, Tony Levesque.
Ken Gaylord.
Tony Levesque.
Or do you prefer Kenneth?
Nah, Ken's fine.
Ken.
I've been called a lot of things in my life. Ken, Kenny, Kenneth.
That's the least offensive
It doesn't matter.
so far.
Yeah. Used to hate Kenny when I was a kid. But,
Yeah?
oh my God. Made me think that I was this little kid, and
Yeah.
I always wanted to be older than I was because I grew up the youngest of 5 boys. So
Ooh.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was abused as a child.
As you should be.
Yeah.
Four brothers?
All older, all bigger.
No sisters.
No sisters. They
Yeah,
were.
I don't know what that's like. I grew up with 2 younger sisters, and I was 9 when my brother came along, so...
Yep. I listened to, as most of the rest of your guests have said, I listened to some of your, the podcasts that you'd done previously and prepped, and I was laughing hysterically at the one you did with your brother.
Everyone loves that one. And that to me is like, meh. But I've told those stories a million times already, just not on a microphone, apparently.
Yeah, well, I had the complete opposite experience. My next oldest brother to me is 6 years older than I am, so I was the annoying little kid all the time. I mean, he just would. I had one older brother that used to pick me up by my ankles and just like threatened to drop me all the time. So
that's what older brothers are for, right?
Well, I guess. I don't know. I've never had that experience other than I have nieces and nephews now, which I'm glad that I can send home.
Yeah.
So
isn't that the best part?
it is the best part.
It's nice to love them and then say, okay,
You go home
your
now.
parents can take over now.
Yep.
Pump them full of sugar.
Or for all the beatings that I got as a kid, I will gladly wind up any one of their kids and say, okay, you take them home now.
That's the best. I think that's why my mom loves being a grandmother so much. Just torturing us for what we put her through.
Yep. My mother loves to torture us, and because she likes to tell all the embarrassing stories about all the new friends or girlfriends that come by, and
Yeah.
they tell all of the embarrassing stories that came up when you were a kid.
My daughter's 4, so we're building an arsenal of ammo.
Oh yeah, you'll get that.
That
You'll
poor
have that.
girl when she turns 16 and starts dating at 25.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, at 25.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. Hold off a little bit. Yeah, right.
So
That's not how that works. So no kids for you?
no kids for me. I was married once.
Yep.
My ex-wife had a couple of kids by a previous marriage. Loved the kids. The wife and I just couldn't make it work. So,
Yeah.
but that was fine.
That's got to be one of the most difficult things that, doesn't really get talked about that often, is going into a marriage or a relationship with kids already there, which is very common nowadays.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, more common than not, really. But the difficulty of raising somebody else's kids, and if they've got a couple kids, they're different ages.
Yep.
So one kid, you were their dad at 3, the other one at 10, so they're like, you're not my dad.
Yeah, I came in. We had, or she had a. I guess they were 5 and 7 when we met, and hit it off. The kids and I hit it off immediately, and
That's great.
had a
when
great
that can
time.
happen.
And it was 6 years later, and they were 11 and 13 and or whatever, and we were splitting up, and it was kind of tough because I was taking their father was still in the picture and still is in the picture, and the father's a great guy. He's a local guy now, and I get along with him. Whenever I see him out, don't even hesitate to walk up to him, shake his hand. How you doing? Can I buy you a beer?
That's great.
Haven't seen the ex-wife in years, but see the kids every occasion. One of the older son, anyway. I see him occasionally. He and his dad were just into to play golf at the course that I work at. So, you know, it's a good relationship still. Just I missed a lot of the growing up years.
Yeah.
But after we split up, so.
Do you find that as you get older, it's easier to just be accepting and not burn any bridges, even if it's difficult to maintain a relationship, just to kind of be, I find the older I get anyway, the more optimistic and critical, the less critical I am, the older I get, you know, and just people are who they are. And
I've always been kind of that way, at least in...
You seem pretty easygoing.
Pretty, as far as I'm concerned, you know, with myself, although the relationship I just got out of, she would probably not agree with that, but that's a different story. That's, you know, but I always consider myself to be, you know, accepting of almost everybody. You know, I don't care what your religious views are. I don't care what if you're a good person, you're a good person.
Yeah.
Don't bullshit me.
Don't church it up.
Yeah. Don't force your values on me. I won't force my values or views on you. If we can get together over a beer or, you know, a football game or something else and have a good time, then that's great.
Yep.
So that's the way I've always been, and that's the way I prefer to be.
That's right. That's a great viewpoint.
Yep.
So I don't remember how we met. I think we've known each other off and on for years now.
About 5 years.
Probably through Snow Ridge.
Through
or
Snow
Dana,
Ridge,
maybe?
through Dana.
Dana.
Yeah.
See that?
DJ
Dana's
Dana.
the linchpin of every relationship in Lewis County.
He is. Dana was. I went to school with Dana. He was a couple of years older than I was.
That's right. You went to South Lewis too.
I went to South Lewis too. We had. We got to know each other even better when we worked at the Enchanted Forest. Dana,
I forgot you worked there.
Dana, I was the manager for the front water slides, the kiddie park, for a couple of years, and Dana was the absolute best train driver that there ever was.
I still have people telling me that. You know Dana? Oh man, when he worked at Enchanted Forest.
Yeah. He used to give movie reviews. And there was like dead air time. Of course, Dana can't stop talking.
Yeah.
So he would give movie reviews and give the top 10 box office hits for the week, and just he did his research before he went in to drive the train at the Enchanted Forest. So and that of course led him to be your predecessor at the Moose. So
well, my wife always tells me, "Oh, you can have a conversation with anyone. I can't go anywhere." And I turn around and you're talking with some stranger for 10 minutes. I said, but I learned that from Dana.
Yeah. Yep. So it got, when I first came back to
smacking my stuff over there,
your stuff around, you know, hitting your guitars. When I first came back to the area, I left AT&T, my job with AT&T, and I started working at the golf course, and we were kind of throwing around some ideas about how to make the golf course better and how to drum up business. And actually, we were at Snow Ridge at the time. We had Michael's restaurant at Snow Ridge, and the guys I was working with and working for kind of said, well, we need a band, or we need this, or we need that. And I hadn't been in the area for a bunch of years, but the funny joke was, okay, I know a guy. Give me a couple of days. So we wanted a band for whatever reason. I don't know what it was at Michael's, but I'm like, well, knew a couple of guys. Jeremy Hill was one. He wasn't available, so I contacted Dana and said, hey Dana, you got a band? You guys? Yeah, man. What do you want to? You know what? Do you, so and then I met you, and
was it Gabe or
Gabe
okay.
Shepard?
Yep.
you and Gabe, and we spent a few late nights there.
Yep.
And that would have been, was it Good Golly or the Burglars?
That was the Burglars.
Yep.
Because we were originally the Burglars with my brother, and Gabe joined up, and when my brother came back, we switched the name.
Okay. So, yep. And I've had you guys on and off. I think this was the first year that I worked at Snow Ridge that I didn't have, Due North or the Burglars. And that was because there was
I think we talked about one, but we had scheduling conflicts.
Scheduling conflicts. Yeah, we did some beer tastings and
that's
and
right,
stuff
yeah.
like that. And you did them the year before, and everybody loved it. But but there wasn't that opportunity this year.
Right.
So, but
you like working at the golf course?
I do. I like the struggle of it, actually, because it is one of the other thing that, again, in my research, one of the things that prompted me to do take more of an interest in your podcast was a constant theme that came back was, adults in this area are raising their kids to, they're saying you have to go to school, you have to get good grades, you have to go to college, and you have to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Don't come back. And I think that's such a farce. I got good grades in high school. I was a bit of a slacker, but if I'm honest, and I was a little bit of a slacker through college, but I was first of my family since my mother to
keep going.
Graduate college.
Do something with this
college.
cat. This is like the third podcast that this cat has tried to invade. He's not going to leave it alone either.
So I was the first person in my family past my mother to graduate college, and I've moved away and I've came back, and I moved away and I came back and I moved away, and I finally, this last time I moved away and I came back and I said, I'm 40 now. I think I was 40 when I moved back, 39 or 40, and this is the last time I'm moving. I'm not. I just don't want to do it anymore. I love it here. I always come back here. The area has a lot to offer, but it is what you make of it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, everyone's got the grass is always greener mentality, and sometimes it takes just that, moving away a couple times and coming back, for you to realize what a great opportunity this whole area is.
Yep.
It's gorgeous. I mean, we've got 8-foot tall corn across the road in the middle of July.
Yep. And you can. It's a short drive if you want another experience.
Yeah.
But if you lived in those other places, you would never think to come here.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't get to wake up in the morning, and
he succeeded.
He came in. You wouldn't.
Jasper. Ken's gonna be all cat hair.
So you wouldn't get to be able to wake up in the morning and look out the window and see, nature. You might get you could look out the window and
unwanted
see
glimpse of your neighbors.
Yes. I love you, Tony, but I don't want to look next door. I'll look out my window and see you stretching, doing yoga in the morning.
I always thought it was funny when I lived in town. We rented this apartment, and when we got there, there was, curtains on some of the windows and shades, and in the living room there was a shade on this window, and didn't think anything of it. And one day we opened it up, and it looks directly into the neighbor's window. Maybe, I bet there's a 6-foot gap in between the houses.
Yep.
And I'm like, one person built this house first.
Yeah.
Or one of these houses was built first, and the other person was a jerk. Like, where should we put this? How about looking directly into their kitchen?
Yep.
How about no windows on that side of the house, you creep? That's what I love. I mean, we're 3 miles from the dead center of town right here on the East Road, but I can go out back and shoot a gun. I could go in my underwear and get the mail.
Yeah.
The neighbors can see a little bit, but I don't think they'd care.
Yeah. Yep. Where I live in Turin is I live right next door to the school, so I think I would probably
Yeah.
I'd,
That's a little different.
There might be some felony charges if I went out to the road to get the paper and underwear.
Turin's a nice area, though.
Yeah. And it's getting better. You know, we've people are in Turin are becoming more active. We just had a 4th of July parade for the first time in 5 years.
I heard it was great.
And it was like thrown together at the last minute. They called me at the golf course on Wednesday. And they said, "Hey, we're going to have a 4th of July party. Do you want to enter anything?" I'm like, "Give me a day. Let me see what I can put together." So, yeah, it was... I didn't get a chance to go see it. I had to work the clubhouse, but everybody said it was great, and my mother was like, "Yeah, I could tell the guys from the golf course, they were throwing golf balls at people." So
That's awesome.
But,
I'm gonna take a little hairball out here.
okay.
I normally don't edit these more than adjusting volumes and stuff.
Right. But there's some dead space you're gonna have to take
I think
out of this one.
yeah. But the listeners won't even know.
No.
What happened?
Yeah.
Like, what are they talking about? I didn't notice a dead space.
You could put in like circus music in that dead space.
That whole when the TV station would go out and you'd have we will return shortly.
Yeah.
Having technical issues.
Yep. So you don't understand the whole pet thing?
Yeah. And people get so upset with me. It's not that I hate animals. I don't. I just don't understand
Owning an animal?
the relationship that some people have with their animals. Like we've had these cats for 2 years. I would certainly be upset if they died or something happened to the cats. But I don't give animals as much love as most people do. And he's back.
He's back.
He got out.
Yeah.
I don't hate animals.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're delicious.
Yeah.
I like to hunt.
Yeah.
But
see, that's one thing that I never got into around here is hunting. Hunting and fishing. He's getting good at getting in, Tony.
yeah.
That's just too. People call it relaxing, and I just don't find it relaxing at all.
Yeah.
You know,
I find if people don't get it, they don't get it.
yeah.
You can't
I'm not-
force that on people.
I've never really been a gun person. I'm not a gun hater by any stretch of the imagination, but I just don't own a gun. I don't see the need for me to own a gun.
Yeah, if you're not hunting and you're not worried about security,
And
well, now we got 2 of them in
Yeah.
here. They heard what I said about the pets thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They're like, oh, yeah?
they came to give you love. So
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are the same. They don't want a gun in their house, and I understand that, too. You know, if you're not properly trained and don't know how to use one and would be afraid to use one anyway,
right.
what's the point?
Yep.
Get a big machete,
Yeah.
and it'll do the same thing.
Yep.
Come to the door naked with a machete, and
People are gonna
nobody's
run.
breaking into your house. Unless you got something really worth it in there. And if you haven't got any guns, they're probably not going to steal anything.
No, probably not.
Oh, so you've had a lot of different jobs. You've kind of been all over the place.
I have.
I like that.
I'm a well-rounded individual.
You worked at Ethan Allen.
I worked at Ethan Allen. I did.
You're part of a dying breed there.
I started actually before Ethan Allen. I worked in Chained Forest, and then I moved down south and I worked at building homes. I was a carpenter, more or less, home builder. Moved back and got the job at Ethan Allen, and helped close that business. And then I went to work for Hardin, and I had some pretty cool experiences there. I actually built Laura Bush's desk that was in the West Wing of the White House.
Really?
Yep. Everybody always asks me how can they prove that, and I'm like, you really can't. You just know that
If you look underneath, I signed it.
Yeah, I should have done that. I
Yeah.
should have gotten a Sharpie and signed the underside of the desk. But yeah, I built some cool custom furniture that was in the West Wing of the White House, and so that's my one claim to fame. I got out of building the furniture, and I actually got into the office, and had some pretty cool experiences there. I got to travel a little bit, got to go to Chicago and Washington and things like that. And I actually helped to design an entire line of furniture. So I got to see the design process with an actual person who was a furniture designer, and worked through that year-long process, and helped with the launch and everything like that. So that was kind of cool. And from there, I was at this office job. I got into working for AT&T, both as a sales rep, traveling around the North Country, pushing AT&T and Walmart and Best Buy and things like that. And eventually I became a store manager in Potsdam and in Watertown. And when it came time to move on from that, I tried a couple other things. I tried selling cars and was awful at that. I think I sold 2 cars in 3 months.
You can't have a soul and do that.
No, I don't think so. I did that, and I tried a couple other things. Then I got back in. One of the owner's sister at the golf course remembered me from bartending years ago when the Turn-In was still open.
Okay.
So that's where I got my start.
Just go up there and hang out a little bit.
She said, "Do you want to work on Friday and Saturday nights?" Well, sure. So that happened, and the next winter I was signed on full time to work at Michael's and at Snow Ridge, and kind of took off from there. The manager that was there quit / got fired for like the 4th time, and Michael looked at me and said, "Hey, do you want to be the next manager of this place?" Never done it before. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Been there. So
that's awesome.
He and I, we kind of took off from there, and I'd never run a golf course before. Never really played golf that much before.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 years later, 6 years later, whatever it's been, it's like second hat to me now. Just is what you got to do.
A lot of times you don't figure out what you want to do until you're actually doing it.
Right.
You're like, oh wow, this is what I like.
And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure that this is where I'm going to end up. Who knows? Maybe I go back to factory work or something.
Well, it seems like society, drills into your head that you need to find what you want to do and then do it for your whole life. And economically, yes, that makes sense, because then you get retirement, you build, you know what I mean? You stay at a company long enough, you'll eventually make more money. But life is all about experiences.
See, when I was a kid, there were a couple of things I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know a lot of things when I was a kid. There were 2 things I knew I didn't want, two things that I knew I didn't want to do. One was have kids. Mm-hmm. I've known since I was a teenager that I didn't want to have kids. Mm-hmm. My ex-wife and I kind of talked about it, and I said, no, I don't want kids. I was 30 years old. I don't want kids. I enjoy sleeping in at night. Mm-hmm. You've got 2 kids. I love your kids. I'm good.
Yeah.
We don't need to have kids. So she got fixed, and that was that. And the other thing is, I always said I never want to be a farmer. So, because I grew up on a dairy farm, and
work as hard as you possibly can just to struggle.
Yeah. And actually, there's 3 things I knew, and the other one was I didn't want to be a farmer, didn't want to have kids, didn't want to be a farmer. And I knew that I would be working well into my 70s,
Mm-hmm.
probably until the day I die. And that was something that a lot of people ask me. I work. Part of the reason we're doing this podcast at the time we're doing it at 7:00 on a Sunday night is because my schedule is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I work all summer. I'll work between 70 to 90 hours a week. And people ask me, how in the heck do you put that many hours in and remain sane? I said, I grew up on a dairy farm, dude. You know,
there is no vacation.
there is no vacation. You don't get to the cows. You can't take the night off.
Yeah.
The cows
Can't
still
just
have
leave
to
out
be,
extra food.
Yeah. Throw out an extra scoop of grain.
Yeah.
But the cows still have to get milked. The hay still has to be put in. It doesn't. Mother Nature doesn't wait for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can do it. I'm also getting to I'm 45 now, and I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. That sounds pretty appealing.
It does. I get to take a vacation this year. It's about the first, I'd say, in a decade that I've had a full week off, and I'm so excited for it. And we just got a couple days of camping down in Lake George, and then I think we set a couple of days aside just to do stuff around the house.
Yeah.
And I'm probably still going to call work and make sure everything is okay.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But I love my job.
Yeah.
4th of July, they're like, oh, you get the day off. And I said, well, my wife's got to work. I might as well come in for a couple. No, take the day off.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I really like it.
I had, when I worked for AT&T, I took, in the 5 or 6 years that I worked there, I basically took one vacation, one real vacation. And that was to go to Washington, D.C. for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And
install
back
the
in,
Bush's desk.
No. But when I worked for AT&T, I basically at all times carried 3 cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
I had one that was my personal phone. We called that the bat phone. So only certain people at work had the bat phone number. And then all the store managers had BlackBerries for our work device.
Mm-hmm.
And then we always had a third device that was some sort of Android, maybe the Galaxy S when they first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our demo device. So that was what you used when you were on the floor. You'd pull it out and you say, "Oh, look what you can do with this."
Mm-hmm.
And
the one you want to be caught with.
Yeah. So, I had that, and we went to Washington, and it was a struggle. The day we left for Washington, I took the back off my BlackBerry. I took the battery out of it and put it in a drawer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a week without work email.
Really?
Or work text messages or work phone calls. And I had the one bat phone, which is my personal iPhone, and I think I got maybe one call from my assistant manager at the time, when he had a question that he couldn't answer and couldn't get a hold of anybody else, and I didn't mind answering it for him. It was just one of those things. But if you ever it was the most liberating thing. Yeah, and of course, then I got back from the vacation and I had to go to a week of training, and I found out that my boss had left the position that he was in to take another job.
Mm-hmm.
And this had happened and that had happened when I was away, and I didn't. Everybody's like, "So are you going to be the next ARSM?" I said, "What?" I'm like, they're like, "Oh yeah, Dave, he's now ARSM in this other territory." I'm like, "Wait, what?" So they're like, "Yeah, you should apply for the job." I'm like, "No, wait, go back. What just happened?" So
it's amazing the things you miss when you don't have your phone for even a day or two.
Yep. And now, we're talking, I don't know, 8 years ago.
Yeah, well, you said BlackBerries.
Yeah, Blackberries, and actually the Galaxy S. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking like the Galaxy S4.
Yeah.
I'm talking the Galaxy S, the
Yeah.
original one. So,
Oh. Yeah, I'd love to be without my phone. We're not used to being bored,
yeah, not
which is, it's a good thing. We're at a great place in time because we've developed and created so much that we don't have to be bored anymore.
right.
And we have the luxury of being bored. Our ancestors didn't have that luxury.
Well, they say actually boredom breeds innovation, which is you got kids that are out there being bored, and all of a sudden a new games, James Naismith invents basketball,
Yeah.
Something like that. It's just boredom is not a bad thing, Da Vinci was probably bored at some point, more often than not. So, and he was a great innovator, great artist, great everything. So
Boredom just means that we've succeeded.
Yep.
A million years ago, we were spending every waking minute of the day trying to figure out the next meal
Yep.
and how to survive every single day.
Yep.
And now we have so much time during the day where, we're all set. There's
Yeah.
food in the fridge, and the rent's paid, and
Yeah. Yep. And food, shelter, and clothing. Combination or communication. I mean,
we've got
So-
it all. We really are lucky.
yep. Entertainment. Cat chewing on my thumb.
I told you, if you don't give him attention, he's gonna let you know.
So I'm trying to give him attention. He won't let me. Why won't you let me love you?
So you don't even play golf, huh? Well, you probably
Well,
do a little now.
I do now.
Yeah.
It's kind of a prerequisite of the job. I play a couple of league nights a week, but that's about what I have time for.
Mhm.
So,
There's something about getting out there in nature and
yeah,
smacking something really hard.
it's kind of not really nature, but it is.
Yeah.
It's the
There's
outdoors.
birds
and
chirping.
there's birds chirping, and there's green grass. Well, not now, but
Well, if you play like I do, you see a lot of nature.
yeah, you get to see the real nature.
Yeah.
But
Poison ivy.
yeah. Perfectly manicured greens and shortcut fairways aren't exactly really nature, but
Yeah.
it's approaching that.
Do you still love the smell of fresh cut grass?
I
Or is-
do actually. Growing up, people are going to call me crazy, but I actually don't mind the smell of spread manure.
Mhm. I just talked about that a couple podcasts ago, and
Yeah.
who was it? Ryan Pichet. He looked at me like I was out of my mind.
Yeah,
But there's a certain type of manure smell at a certain time of year that's...
yeah,
Whoa, okay.
yeah. You're home.
Yeah.
There's some that I don't like the smell.
Oh, yeah.
Of, don't get me wrong. When they put the whey in the manure,
Yeah.
and then spread it on the fields.
Do you
and
remember
it's-
years ago in Lyons Falls with the treatment plant? I lived outside of Lyons Falls, and when the wind was a certain direction,
Mhm.
oh my God.
Yeah,
But that's
see?
not cow manure.
No. No, I don't. I never hung out in Lyons Falls that much. I mostly hung out. I grew, like I said, I grew up on a dairy farm. We had
Mhm.
back 500 acres to hang out on.
Mhm.
So friends always came to my house.
Up in Turin?
Yeah, yep. I grew up in at the Pioneer Lodge. Used to be a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
And a big dairy farm behind it.
Right. Okay.
And that's all years gone by, but yeah.
I like that you still come into Towpath too.
Yeah.
Am I not supposed to say that?
No, you can say.
It's always great to see you come in there.
Yeah.
There's
I feel like Norm when I walk in.
yeah.
Norm Ken.
What's
Hey,
shaking,
everybody.
Norm? All four cheeks and a couple chins.
So,
That place is special. I like that there's there's not half as many bars around this area as there used to be.
Oh my God. You get Mike Patchkowski and I sitting down together, and we could tell you the history of Turin, and there used to be 11 bars in
Turin,
in the town of Turin.
Yeah, that now has a
11
stop
bars.
sign.
Now has a stop sign.
Yeah.
No, 2. Well, really 4, because Main Street has stop signs on either end. But
at least it slows down to 45 through town, or 35.
35.
Oh,
35.
big town.
Yep. But there's now 2 seasonal bars, 1 restaurant, and is that it? I think that's it. So
I love the old pictures of Turin from the 1800s, and what a thrive! Oh, all the towns were really thriving.
Yeah, Turin had a bunch of industry when back in, like you said, the 1800s. In the early 1900s, there was grist mills and tanneries and brick. There's a brick manufacturer in Turin, and canning, where they can food.
It was right on the edge of the woods there.
Yeah.
Just on the edge of the plateau, so all of the logging from what would that be? Town of Page, I think, way up in the woods there used to come through Turin, I believe.
Yeah, that could be.
With all the tanneries, it was tree bark, so they worked hand in hand with the loggers, and that was some thick. Well, still is some thick wilderness up there. I used to hunt up there when I was a kid, and you couldn't shoot anything more than 20 yards. You couldn't see it. One of
the stories that one of the things that interesting things about the area is when I worked for Hardin, we owned and managed a bunch of its own forests, and we had this one rep. I think he was from Ohio, a sales rep who promoted Hardin for us. And he came in, and he had just come back from Germany, and he showed us. He said, he came in and he took a picture, or he was talking about the forest, the Hardin. Let me start that over. So he took a tour of one of the Hardin forests and everything like that, and he said that the forests here are amazing. They're so natural. And I said, what do you mean? They go and they cut trees out. I mean, they're managed. They're only taking trees at the proper time, but it's obviously a managed forest. And he said, no, this isn't a managed forest. He showed me pictures from Germany, and all of the trees were in
rows,
in rows, in grids, and they're perfect. Like you could look from one road right to the other through the trees, and
it's like when you drive up through Branningham, and you see all the rows of trees. I think that's because it burned, and they replanted.
The Adirondacks have been burned several times. So they actually used to burn the mountaintops there.
Really?
Yeah, so that they had clear line of sight.
Huh.
Yeah, it was a thing to help manage forest fires. They actually used to burn the tops of the mountains off.
Boy, could you imagine 200 years ago living in the Adirondacks?
Yeah.
Like now we go up there for fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would have wanted to be anywhere near mountain lions and the amount of moose in the area. And
I can tell you that there are still some very brave bears in the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
Way up there. I have been way closer than I want to be to more than a couple of bears hiking in the Adirondacks, and by closer I mean I had at one point I had a bear snuffle, sniffing up and down my arm.
Oh man!
Through a tent while I was sleeping.
No thanks. I hate seeing a bear in the woods.
I want Steph, and my wife was like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "Bear, what are you gonna do?" "Nothing."
Hide the honey, quick.
So, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I don't like being in the woods with bears, and I know that there's mountain lions. The DEC can say whatever they want on that.
Yeah, you go bullshit.
Yeah, and I understand because you know
Yeah, you don't
the
wanna-
Adirondacks is a tourist destination.
You don't want to.
When have you heard of
panic.
somebody being attacked by one?
Yeah,
Not to say that it wouldn't happen, but yeah, why put the fear into people for the rare chance that it could happen?
yeah, it's totally there. I know I've talked with farmers that say they've had a cow come back from pasture with an obvious swipe mark on it, and another guy said that he had a calf disappear from his barnyard, and he earlier in the day had seen a what looked like a really big cat, and so.
Well, you talk to any of the old timers that have been in the woods. A lot of the old hunters around here, all of them have a story about seeing a mountain lion.
Yep.
I'm sure they still exist. They got to be rare.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, well, they don't want to be seen either. They really don't. They're way more timid than bears.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any reason to be. Bears really what they want is your food.
Yeah.
Because they're fat and lazy.
Well, we've made them that way.
Yeah. But mountain lions, they have no desire to interact with humans. So not like your cats, but
Yeah. They're a little needy.
yeah.
They're the bears of my house.
Yes. So
you like being in the woods? You like to go hiking?
I do like to go hiking.
Where do you normally go around here? You
I
got Whetstone right there.
Yeah, actually, I just did Whetstone last weekend, and because I hadn't done that in years, and I forgot how hard that was.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and you get a little bit of the. I was talking with another guy about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you get up there, and the funny thing is, you're so close to the Gulf when you walk it or when you hike it, that you get a little bit of vertigo when you're up there, because you can literally stick your, take 3 steps to your left and
Be dead.
you're dead."
Yeah, it's not a place you want to get vertigo.
So
I always loved going up there. The water is always freezing cold.
yeah, I do that. I've done that. Like I said last weekend, earlier in the spring, I hiked up Bald Mountain before the snow was gone, and before I actually got a good set of hiking shoes. So it was fun coming down.
Yeah.
It was more like skating on my worn out hiking boots.
In the spring, it's just awful, and sometimes in the fall too, with all the wet leaves on the rocks. And
Yep.
I like Bald Mountain because it's an easy hike.
Yep.
It is a mountain, but we took Penelope up last year. She was 3 then, and hiked the mountain. We didn't carry her or anything.
Yep.
So it's nice that you can do that, and people bring their pets up there.
Yeah, that is a good one. You always see people hiking with dogs up there. And actually, I saw when I did Whetstone, there was like two couples. And they had the littlest dogs, and the dogs were walking. They were troopers. One of them was a Chihuahua, and the other one was like a Shih Tzu or something like that. And the dogs were just walking along.
They all got their 10,000 steps that day.
Yeah. So, but
yeah, that's another thing with dogs too. I understand if you like farmers. All farmers have a dog.
Yep. Herd dogs
because they have space for a dog.
Yep.
A dog should be outside running wild and free. I mean, all animals should have that. I don't get people that live in a city that have a dog. It's like, how,
especially a big dog.
Yeah, how is that great for that dog?
Yeah, you have a 1-bedroom apartment and a Great Dane.
Yeah, it might be fun for you to have a dog, but the dog's point of view is like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I just want to run for 2 minutes.
Yep.
But I like seeing people, as much as I, have no opinion on pets.
Yeah.
I like to see people like up at Bald Mountain with their dogs, getting the dogs outside. It's like kids, you got to take them outside, let them run free.
Yeah, give them some exercise.
Yeah.
So
That's hard to do nowadays too.
And I would love to have a dog, but like I said before, I'm my work schedule just isn't conducive to it, and I couldn't.
You're the type of person that gets it.
Yeah.
Like if you don't, so many people are selfish with having an animal,
right?
And they don't spend any time with it or chain it up outside in one spot. And you should have a dog because you really care about that dog,
Right.
and you want the best for it.
My brother has a dog and he has a job where he works for a local farmer, and he can take his dog with him, and that dog loves to ride in the back of the truck. The dog, so it's always in the back of the truck, and just a smart dog, happy all the time, and just gets to do dog stuff all the time. It's a herding dog, so he helps with the cows and gets to chase the cats and chase the mice and
He's got the
everything
life.
like that. He's got the life of a dog, man.
Yeah.
So, and he's universally loved by everybody. So
The only dogs I don't like are when I go to a place and I bend down to take my shoes off, and they're right in your face. That drives me nuts. Like, get away from my face for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I have slip-on shoes. It'll be okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, he bites, but just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. He doesn't draw blood normally.
It's funny because that's what I told you with the cat.
Yeah.
When we come in.
So.
If you don't pet him, he'll just bite you a little bit.
Yep.
Thanks for coming by today, Ken. This was
Absolutely.
a blast.
Yeah.
Anything you want to talk about before we go? You got anything to promote with the golf course?
Well, we're trying some new stuff all the time. We're trying. Everybody's always asking us when we're going to open the restaurant back up, and we're never probably going to truly open the restaurant back up. But we're going to make a half-hearted attempt at it. We do a couples night on Friday night now, like a 9 and dine type thing.
Friday nights are good because there's nothing really. Friday night used to be the night to go out.
Oh my God, Thursday night.
Now it's Thursday.
By far and away the night to go out.
People are antsy for that weekend. They want to get a little taste of it early.
That was what I was telling my boss. We got to do something on Thursdays because everybody goes out on Thursdays.
Yeah.
You got wing night at the Towpath. You got
and they're all packed.
Yeah. There's bands at the Alpine. There's
Timberview is opening up Thursday nights now too.
The Wine Down is on Thursday nights.
Yep.
Saranac Thursdays in Utica.
Bark Eater used to be Thursday.
Yeah. So that's sad.
Yeah. So you're bringing Fridays back.
Bringing Fridays
I think
back.
you should.
Couples night. Yep.
That's good.
And we keep checking in. We may even do a 9 dine and wine type thing. Maybe we hook up with one of our distributors or with the Tug Hill Winery or something like that, and do a food pairing or wine pairing with whatever meal we have going on.
People really seem to enjoy that type of thing too.
Yeah.
I know the wine tastings up at Snow Ridge, or the beer tastings. Yeah. That was a great thing.
Yeah.
I like that people are excited to shop local.
Yep.
When the vineyard opened up, I'm like, is this going to work here?
Yeah.
But it totally does.
Yep, it does.
Keep the money in our own community, and it'll continue to grow.
And even with as long as they can just keep distributing and keep growing their brand. I know Dean doesn't have the tap room open, but I think he's still distributing his beer. So
and he's expanding.
Yeah.
I commend him for accepting that the tap room, I don't know if it's not that it won't make money, but it's just only going to be ever what it is. And he's got his eyes set on a bigger prize, and it's rough as a business owner to make decisions like that.
Yeah, we had to make a couple of those with respect to the golf course and Michael's restaurant. Michael and I sat down after a couple of winters at Snow Ridge and a couple of summers of me at the golf course, and I said, Michael, I don't know that it's really worth it for us to be open all the time as a restaurant. A restaurant's so tough.
There's so many different facets, and if
and
people don't show up, they don't show up.
Yeah, and I still get people that call and say, I'd like to make reservations for Friday night. I said, well, we haven't opened the restaurant in 3 years, or for Saturday night, whatever. And why'd you ever close it? It was such a great spot. I said, it's because you haven't been here in 3 years. So, well, I just don't get. Okay,
that's how it always
fine.
is. Once a place closes down, oh, but it was so good. Well, you didn't show us.
Yeah. Really? I thought it was good too, but apparently nobody thought it was great. So.
And that's why I always try to promote this podcast at work. Keep your money here. You know what I mean? Shop local.
Yep.
We have great things here. It's not New York City. You're not going to walk down the street and have it slap you in the face. You got to go out and find it. You got to listen to the radio. You got to watch on Facebook. Word of mouth. Go sit in the bar. You'll figure out what's going on. Any
absolutely.
bar. They're especially in the summertime, and really even in the winter.
Especially the winter around here.
There's always something for everybody. Not just people want to go out drinking, but stuff for the kids. Elderly people. We got the Bluegrass Festival right down the road here.
Yep.
There's something for everyone here all the time. The people that say that there's nothing going on, you're not looking hard enough. It's here.
So that's one of my newest projects that if I ever get time, I want to start back. I've always kind of dabbled in writing and maybe not published anything of note, but I have had a blog, but I came up with the idea last year, and I actually bought the domain name, and I will. I don't know if I can't even remember. I think it's living in upstate New York or living in Lewis County, livinginlewiscounty.com. So, and I'm going to. I would like to start writing about things to do around here, because I want to stop that thought that you have to get good grades in high school, go to college, and get the hell out of Lewis County, because you really don't. That's fixing it for one person. It's not fixing it for everybody that's here. And I'm a fixer by trade, and I want to show people that there's actually things to do. Yeah. That we do have a culture here, that there is. It's not boring. If you're bored, then you're not looking hard enough.
Yeah. If you're bored, then you're always going to be bored.
Right. You just need to. You're not trying. Try new things, try different things, and I if it's something, if anybody out there has an idea or something they want to run by me, a new place to hike, or a festival that's going on, or something that's reasonably local. And I put this on my Facebook page. I said, I'm going to start writing again, blah blah blah. And if it's if there's something you want to do or you want to try, hit me up, or you want to join in. I don't want to always do things by myself, but
right.
Hit me up, and we can we'll work it out. And if there's day drinking involved,
you're there.
You get bonus points. I'll buy the first round.
It seems like that's the demographic around here that want to have a good time. People our age, and they're mid 20s to late 40s. That demographic of young people that still have, are still vivacious and want to go out and have a good time, but a mellow, relaxed good time, not.
Yeah, no, I'm not into. I'd give it anything a try. I love heavy metal, but I'm not going to go to K-Rock and anymore in my 45. I'm 45. And
did you used to go?
I've been to a couple of them.
Me
I've
too.
been to.
Every lineup I see, I'm like, oh
yeah,
oh, I'm old.
Wait, who?
Well, 90s music is considered classic rock now, so
don't stop.
I feel so old.
Yeah. I got it. You. What about me?
Yeah, you're not that much older.
Well, 45. You're 30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
34.
36.
36.
But, yeah.
So, not that much older, but yes, I am older. So
I used to love messing with Dana.
Yeah.
My brother's 9 years younger than me, and it was him, myself, and Dana in the band. And we'd always say, "Oh, I'm Tony, and this is my younger brother Mike, and this is our dad Dana." And once in a while, this is our grandfather Dana.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. I love you, Dana.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's his birthday.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, happy birthday, Dana.
Happy birthday.
So,
well, this comes out Thursday, so Monday was Dana's birthday.
Mondays. So, happy belated birthday, Dana.
If anyone sees Dana, well, he's on Facebook, like it's his job.
Yeah, because
So
I
go on
think it is,
Facebook.
isn't it?
Yeah. He's always loved Facebook.
Yeah.
But that's Dana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you guys trading back like photoshopped
Oh my God.
pictures of each other.
That used to be my biggest passion. is
Yeah.
Taking Dana's face and putting it on the funniest picture in some way or another. Because he's always, every time I take a picture of him, he's making some sort of goofy face.
Yep. So.
And it's just ammo for me.
Yep.
I'll have to do one of those for his birthday.
Yeah.
Some nostalgia.
So.
Well, thanks, Ken. Let's do this
Absolutely.
again.
Yep. In a year, I think that's what you normally say. A year from now.
Yeah. Well, whenever.
Yeah.
We'll have to promote your
Blog.
blog.
Yep. I don't know if you do show notes, but I'll send you a link to it.
We'll definitely do that.
And you can put it in the show notes, and hopefully I actually get the ambition and the time to.
Well, if you got people
write it
asking
down.
about it,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
that's why I like doing this podcast, because I work well with deadlines.
Yep.
And if it's got to be out Thursday, I got to get somebody,
Yeah.
But it that's what works for me. So
Absolutely.
now that's what you got to do. You put it out there to the public.
Yeah, I know. I
People
committed.
are going to say, what about that blog you're going to start?
Yeah.
That? Well,
Yeah. So
when you work, 70, 80 hours a week,
80 hours probably.
and do it on your lunch break.
Yeah. So.
Thanks again, Ken. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
This is the most awkward ending I've had so far.
Yeah, I know. I'm not good.
The cats.
I'm not good with
They threw me
goodbyes.
off. Now he's laying on the floor sleeping. You put the cat to sleep.
So.
All right. See ya.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Tony and Other People, a podcast. Questions, comments, concerns for Tony's overall well-being? Want to be part of the show? Find us on Facebook or email us at tonyandotherpeople@gmail.com.